I had to take the headphones off. Apparently they died because I was just sitting here talking and they said power off. Anyhow, and one day we're in there and he was briefing us notes and he was talking about how the rest of the brigade was going to the field. All right, cool. They're going to do FTX or field training exercise. If you're in a tank or a field artillery unit, they call it gunnery, maybe even some Bradley units with the Cav Scout guys. But he was telling us that all of our guys that had medical appointments, because we were going to be sleeping in the motor pool for 3 weeks, all had to cancel all their medical appointments. And I keep trying to refer to this dude as Dave, but every now and again his real name slips out. And so I have to stop and delete the video because I'm not going to put his real name out there. But Dave was a really good dude. And so anyways, here's the story with Dave. He joined the Army with a bad ACL. He toughed it out through basic training. He toughed it out through AIT, and he was passing his PG test all along the way. And he actually worked up to getting it done before we deployed. And then after we deployed, he just couldn't do it no more. And I felt bad for the dude because I know his knees hurting. He let me know later on, like, yeah, it was bad. I knew it was bad, but they let me in, and I just had to try to make the best of it. But, all right, dude. So as soon as we got back, he went to medical, tried it. He got his diagnosis, and he went and talked to a surgeon, and he has a referral with the surgeon. The surgeon said, yes, we need to do the surgery, and he did that. And now he's going through his physical therapy. He's stretching his knee, trying to get his ACL back in shape after it was actually a botched surgery, but we didn't know that at the time. And he's trying to get his stuff back together so he doesn't have to get medically retired or chaptered out. Which is crazy because I've never seen anybody do that before. Most times they just ride that profile until they can either medically retire or length of service retire, which is what I did. And so one day we're in a meeting with the first sergeant. He's telling us about this brigade. The brigade's going to this field site, and we all need to stay in the motor pool, and we all have to cancel our medical appointments, and that includes Dave. And I told the first sergeant, I was like, I'm not going to tell Dave that because so far, Dave's the only person I've seen that's try to do this right. So I have a couple options here, and that's what you always have to do when you're talking to your leadership about you can't do this or you can't do that. You have to provide a couple options. Say, look, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we try something different, right? And if you have better ideas, you definitely need to throw those out there. And so what I told him was I'll have Dave call his physical therapist. Oh, we're only 3.5 minutes in. Why are these cramps happening? Don't worry, it's going to be okay. I just need my medicine. Nobody's opened my medicine. There we go. So anyways, when it comes to Dave, he's the first person I've seen ever try to do this the way it's supposed to be done in the United States military through the military medical system, which is absolutely batshit insane. But he's trying it because he had the same plan I did, actually, was get it done, get that retirement, and get out. So, can I have Dave talk to his surgeon and his physical therapist and see if it's okay that he actually cancel these appointments? Because I'm not going to tell him to do that. I'll bring him down. You can tell him. Or I have him talk to those people and see if it's okay. But yeah, I'm not just going to tell that man to cancel his appointments. But the first sergeant had options. And he's like, yeah, cool. Have him down here at 9:30 and I'll tell him. All right. So I texted Dave and I said, look, Dave, at 0930, tripping over lumber and shit, we got to go talk to the first sergeant. Meet me in the parking lot. Do not walk in without me. And that's what happened. I met him in the parking lot. We were walking in. The whole time we were walking in, I'm telling Dave, I was like, look, dude, as an NCO, I'm going to tell you, I have your back. I have your back. I will cover you as long as you provide 2 answers to the first sergeant. 2 answers. 2. And those 2 authorized answers were, Roger, First Sergeant, while he's talking to you, and moving First Sergeant when he dismisses you. If you say anything outside of those, Dave, I can't help you. But as long as you stick to those 2 answers, I got your back all the way through this. And that's what Dave did. I'm going to kick this lumber back where I need it to be. And so we walked into the first sergeant's office. First sergeant said, hey, look, man, we're going to the field, blah, blah, blah. You have to cancel your appointments, blah, blah, blah. And a whole bunch of other bullshit that nobody wants to hear when they're trying to get better. But Dave did exactly what I said. Roger, First Sergeant, Roger, First Sergeant, Roger, First Sergeant. And then First Sergeant said, dismissed. He said, moving, First Sergeant. Dude snapped to the position of attention, did an about face, and we walked the fuck out of the office. First Sergeant looks at me and he says, got any questions? Negative, Top. We're good. He's like, okay. I turned around and walked out. Dave knew to meet me in the parking lot, and he's like, what do I do now? You have an appointment with your physical therapist before all this actually kicks off, so talk to your physical therapist. They have influence over the company commander and the first sergeant, and they can talk to them there's actually a portal for those things where they can actually communicate one-to-one on a basis. But hang on. But that's the way that has to go down. I need you to try to communicate with your people that are getting you fixed to get them to communicate with the people that are trying to tell you your fix doesn't matter. Anywho, here's what happened. Long story short, at the end of the day, dude didn't do none of that. Dave was like, Dave had a better plan. So, Dave's appointment, we're all in the motor pool. His physical therapy, legitimately, his physical therapy office was directly across the street from the motor pool. So, day of Dave's appointment, he walks down to the gate with his little backpack on. Assault pack is what we call him. He looks around, nobody's watching. Cool beans. Dave walks across the street, goes to his appointment, which was at the gym, directly across the street from the motor pool. And he does his appointment. Gets his appointment done, changes back into his uniform, walks up to the gate at the motor pool, looks around, nobody's noticing. He walks right back in. Nobody's none the wiser. And I'm going to tell you, we have a term for that in the military. It is called tactical disobedience. And this man pulled it off. I'm telling you, Dave, if you ever see this, you know that you're the guy I'm talking about. You did that the absolute correct way. And honestly, I'd like to talk to you again, dude, just to see how you're doing, because I thought you were a great guy. I know we had our differences, and I know we had those times where it's just like I had to get on to you. But I think you're a good dude. And I'd like to know that you're doing okay. I'd like to know that your daughter's doing okay, which that was a thing that happened later on, but we'll cover that in another video because that actually turned into a thing. And I don't blame the man. Dave, you did it wrong. I wish you'd have done it right, but it's over now. We're all past that, and I damn sure don't hold anything against you. But that's what leadership is all about. I stood up for Dave. Dave did what Dave needed to do. And I was willing to stand up for Dave after that. Because Dave's just trying to get his shit taken care of, man. He had a bad ACL. Just let the man try to get better, which is what he was trying to do. But no, he ended up actually not getting forced out of the military, but he got kind of pushed out of the military because people had a bad attitude towards Dave being on his profile and still trying to get through his life the best way he knew how. Dave, you're a good dude, and if you know I'm talking about you, man, hit me up, bro. I'd love to talk to you again. If you hit me up and you're not Dave, which I still remember Dave's name, like Dave's real name, I'm gonna know the difference. So don't just rando hit me up like, bro, dude, I'm Dave. Like, I'll know. I will absolutely know. And I'll tell you, probably tell you to piss off because you're not really Dave. And if you had a similar story, I'm not gonna be rude about it. But if you had a similar story, that's fine. But yeah. So, anywho, okay, love you. Bye.